Alright guys, welcome to another beer review. The missus is out, I've got the apartment to myself, got the Stranglers on in the background, picked up a few beers, kicking back doing a few reviews, and this is take 10 because I keep talking about absolute bullshit. Picked up a few traditional brews that I need to get crossed off the list, and yeah, all is well. And after I've finished recording this video, going to be kicking into Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the 1 millionth time, but I've never actually 100%ed that game before. So I've literally found a list online of all the items and when to pick them up. And I think, you know, when you've completed a game so many times, it's okay to cheat every now and then. We're not here to talk about Legend of Zelda, we're not here to talk about video games, not even here to talk about music, although I'm more than open to having a discussion about that sort of stuff. So if you've got any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask me them. Yeah, I'm for some reason firing on all cylinders right now. I've only had one beer, it was like an Easter beer from Weltenberger Kloster, but I'm in a really good mood. Not always the best idea to do beer reviews when you're feeling a little bit hyper, when it's coming towards 25 to 10 in the evening. The beer in question today, ladies and gentlemen, is courtesy of Mönchshof Brew or Brauerei. I keep saying brewery for whatever reason. And yeah, this is the Zoigl, which is part of their manufacture line that they are doing. So I think this is what they're doing with these sorts of beers. Going back in time, looking at some traditional recipes and rebrewing them. The other one that I've had, and the only other one that I've seen by them in this sort of line, is the Historisches Märzen, which I did review, and that was a really nice beer actually. And the thing is with the Mönchshof, they can be really hit and miss sometimes. But anyway, a Zoigl, which from what I can gather, it's more of a brewing tradition as opposed to a style, which I think is brewed roughly around the area of Franconia. And it's one of those like regional, very specific area where they sort of brew this one. And I think there's a real sense of community with it because they have a 6-pointed star for these 6 ingredients in brewing. There's like a whole thing of they brew it exclusively for like the local pub, like home brewers coming together. And when the beer had run out, they'd put the 6-pointed star, which actually inspired the American brewery 6-point. There's a much more concise history down below. I should have read it a bit more in depth before I got on camera, but it's just always fascinating to read about this sort of stuff. And I've had a few Zoigls over the past few years, and they're essentially, from what I can gather, just unfiltered lagers. This is coming in at 5.4%, and just look at how lovely that artwork really is. It looks, I don't know if that's an actual piece of artwork from back in the day, or they've got an artist who can replicate vintage illustrations, but I love stuff like that. And even the paper feels a bit rough. So yeah, beautifully presented beer in the flip top bottle. Lovely label on the neck, which I'd love to be able to keep, but I'm not going to do that on camera, very slowly peeling that off. And then you've got a nice sticker on the top for the beer. And of course, being in Germany, the bottles are recycled, so if you look underneath, you're probably going to find, of course I'd do this when I've recently just cut my nails, yeah, don't know what beer was in that before, but you'll like get completely different breweries on the top of the flip cap as to what is actually in the beer, and I just love that. I love the fact that they recycle and you get money back for your bottles. I mean, you pay for the bottle essentially as a form of deposit, but it gets people actually wanting to recycle, and then it all builds up and you can use that for a future shop. It's just, it's a great system, and I don't know why we don't have that back in the UK. Lovely pop, nice amount of smoke coming out the top of there. Let's pour it into the glass and see what we get. So I won't pour it all in at once so I can get my nose in there, but look at that beautiful stuff. Almost looks like an IPA. But yeah, very hazy. You can definitely tell that it's an unfiltered beer. And yeah, 2 fingers worth of an ever so slightly brown. There's hints of a brown in there, but it's predominantly a white foamy head. But yeah, nice amounts of carbonation welling up there. But yeah, got this lovely, like, rusty, orangey sort of colour. Looks really, really nice. Let's give it a sniff. And I'm instantly getting like a wheaty, sort of yeasty aroma in there. There's this underlining sweetness in there as well. Almost like a fermented berry sort of sweetness. Definitely picking up a leafy, slightly herbal hop character in there. Little gentle touch of like a cracked black pepper. But you're definitely getting like the essence of a lager. It's got this muskiness to it, which is really, really nice. It's a really nice and gentle beer. It's got these slightly bready, cakey tones, but nothing too sweet, nothing too savoury. And like you get that real earthiness about it too. So far, so good. Let's give it a taste. Prost. Get a real, like, sort of gentle caramel flavour in there. Slightly reminds me also of Werther's Original. Yeah, it's got this lovely cakey butterscotch sort of flavour to it. Reminds me of a slightly less sweet and synthetic butterscotch Angel Delight. It's got this like nice creaminess about it. It's not as crisp as one would expect with a beer like this, but it's really, really nice. Not too heavy though. It's not a heavy beer by any stretch, but it's got this real sort of creamy, luscious mouthfeel to it. Get like a straw grassiness. Those hops come in and add a little bit of a spicy herbal edge to it. Yeah, this is a really solidly crafted beer. Getting like a sort of cakiness now the more I'm drinking it. And it was just like the aroma. It's not too sweet, but it's not too savoury on the palate. It's not as crisp and as refreshing as like a Hellas beer, of course, because you get all of that. It's got more of a body, a bit more of a presence to it. And when you swirl it all in, yeah, that is just so opaque. Not really any chunks in there, but I do see sort of like a sedimentation cloud forming in the middle, maybe. Adds a sort of like a rustic edge to the beer. And it does taste like a rustic beer, like very traditional tasting. But then again, a lot of the traditionally brewed beers here in Germany taste traditional. It's like citrus character in there. Yeah, it's a bit more of a, reminds me of like a Brotzeit sort of beer that you'd have with your lunch. Go perfect with like a cheese board, a little bit of a rye bread, something like that. But yeah, lunchtime beer, perfect. Not in like the sense of a lager or a Helles or a Pilsner where you can sit outside in the sun. It doesn't have that refreshment factor that does, but it doesn't weigh you down too much either. So yeah, I really enjoy this line of beers that these guys are doing. Fantastic stuff. And it's another very solid beer indeed. So in terms of a rating on the Zoigl from Mönchshof, it's an 8 out of 10. Fantastic little beer. If you ever get the opportunity to try it, do it. And yeah, go check out Mönchshof. I think some of their beers, well, quite a few of their beers are available. I mean, it does say on it does have English language on the bottom of the label. So I'm not sure if this makes its way outside of Germany or even outside of Bavaria. But if it does and you come across it, give it a go if you want a nice taste of German brewing history and brewing historical brewing culture as well. And that's what I really like about it. It works on that level, and it works as an actual beer in its own right, and you can't really ask much more than that, can you? So check out the Kulmbacher and Mönchshof breweries down below. Check out my Mönchshof playlist as well, and if anybody else here on YouTube has reviewed this one, Their links are down below also. Thank you guys for watching, and I shall hopefully see thee later.